What if I told you that the reunion we've been waiting for all season isn't just sweet, it's heartbreaking? Episode 7's trailer for The Summer I Turned Pretty drops a moment so powerful, makes fans question everything they thought they knew about Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah. It's not just a reunion, it's a turning point. And the more you look at it, the clearer it becomes that this scene could change the entire course of the story. Asterisk, the trailer for Episode 7 doesn't waste any time. It throws us right into the storm of emotions that have been building since the beginning of Season 3. In Episode 6, tensions reached their peak. Belly was torn between Conrad and Jeremiah once again, struggling to balance her heart, her loyalty, and the weight of her choices. Fans saw her trying to move forward, but as always, the past has a way of pulling her back. That's the exact energy the trailer carries into the next chapter, and it sets the stage for one of the most emotional reunions in the series. The trailer opens with a shot that feels familiar yet heavier than anything we've seen before. The beach house is in the background, quiet and still, almost like it's holding secrets within its walls. The air is tense, and the camera captures Belly walking slowly, her eyes filled with hesitation. The music is soft, almost haunting, and instantly tells us that this isn't going to be a joyful moment. Instead, it's bittersweet, an encounter marked by everything left unsaid. Then comes the big moment, the reunion. From the way the trailer is cut, we see Conrad and Jeremiah. Both in the frame, their expressions complicated and layered with emotions that words can't fully explain. It's not just about seeing Belly again, it's about everything that is built up to this point. Conrad's eyes hold that quiet pain he's carried for so long, while Jeremiah looks torn between hope and frustration. Belly, standing between them, becomes the heart of the storm. And the camera lingers on her face to remind us that her decision, her feelings, her words will shape what happens next. What's fascinating is how the trailer uses silence almost as much as dialogue. You notice pauses that stretch longer than expected, glances that say more than 100 lines of dialogue ever could. This silence makes the reunion feel raw and real. Instead of filling the scene with dramatic speeches, the trailer suggests that the emotions themselves, the heartbreak, the longing, the confusion are too heavy for words. Fans can already sense that when these three finally speak, their words will carry the weight of years of love and regret. The setting plays a huge role here too. Unlike the lively summer parties or bright beach days we've seen in past episodes, the trailer chooses a calmer, more intimate environment. The muted colors, the dim lighting, and the way the camera frames each character suggests that this is not just another dramatic argument. This is the reunion that's been building for years, and it's filled with tension so thick, even the silence feels loud. It's the kind of moment that makes fans pause, rewind, and watch again, searching for every little clue about what comes next. And that's exactly why this trailer stands out. It's not loud, flashy, or overdone. Instead, it's subtle and emotional, forcing viewers to focus on the details, the crack in someone's voice, a flicker in someone's eyes, or the way a hand twitches as if reaching out but then stops. These details tell us more about the characters' hearts than any long monologue ever could. The trailer is designed to pull us in and make us feel like we're standing right there with them, holding our breath, waiting to see what's finally said. By the time the trailer fades out, one thing becomes clear. This reunion isn't going to heal wounds. If anything, it's going to rip them open wider than before. The music swells one last time, hinting at heartbreak, and leaves fans with the haunting sense that Episode 7 is where everything begins to unravel. This isn't just another summer of love and drama, it's at the moment where choices become final. And the cost of those choices will change everything. Asterisk, the reunion arrives like the hush before rain. Not with fireworks, but with a held breath that lasts too long. Belly steps into frame as if the ground might give way, and the trailer lets her pause for a heartbeat that feels like a lifetime. She doesn't smile. Her mouth softens, then tightens, a tiny movement that says she has practiced what to say and still isn't sure it will be enough. Across from her, Conrad stands a little too straight, like he is bracing for impact, shoulders squared, but eyes already tired. He looks at her and then away, like the sun is too bright to stare into directly. Jeremiah lingers half a step closer to Belly than Conrad does, not touching her, not crossing the invisible line. The camera sits with all three of them, unblinking, so we can measure the distance in inches and years. You notice right away that the trailer doesn't give us a clean past versus present split. Instead, it overlays the moment with echoes. A wave hits the shore, and the sound bleeds into a memory we can't quite name. Belly's fingers curl the way they did the first time she reached for a door she was afraid to open. Conrad's jaw works the way it always does when he's swallowing words that might wreck him if he speaks them out loud. Jeremiah's eyes are wet, but not from tears. It is the gloss that comes when someone has convinced himself he can handle whatever happens and then realizes he might not. Triangle is not loud here. It is careful. It is tender. It is three people trying not to snap the thread that is barely holding them together. When Belly finally speaks just one line, cut short by a quick edit, it is not a confession, not an apology, not even a question. It is a simple, ordinary phrase that the trailer treats like a fragile glass. I didn't think. We don't hear the rest because the music swells, but the half sentence does more work than a monologue. It says she has been rehearsing. It says she did think, and then overthought, and then doubted herself anyway. Conrad blinks a little slower after that, as if the syllables pushed air out of his lungs. Jeremiah nods, almost to himself, like he is agreeing with the truth he knew all along, that timing is the cruelest editor. And summer is both too short and too long for hearts that can't make up their minds. Body language tells the story the dialogue refuses to finish. Belly's shoulders lift and drop with a breath that looks like surrender. Conrad's hands stay in his pockets, which is his way of keeping from reaching out. Jeremiah shifts his weight forward, like he is ready to step in, but he doesn't, because stepping in now would mean stepping on something delicate. The trailer cuts to their feet. For a split second, an odd choice that works, showing the sand scuffed and uneven. Like the ground itself is recording the moment. It is not a fight scene, and it is not a kiss. It is a confession without a clear confession, and that is why it hurts. We are trained by TV to expect answers. The trailer offers only truth, and truth is messier. The light is overcast, not gray enough to be gloomy, but soft enough to blur edges. This is smart because harsh sun would make everything look certain, and nothing about this reunion is certain. The color grade leans warm just around the skin tones, a whisper that intimacy still exists here, even if trust does not. When the camera slides closer, it refuses to pick a side. It frames Belly and then holds Conrad for a beat that feels like an apology, then glides to Jeremiah as if to say, "We haven't forgotten." This equal attention is not neutral. It is the show reminding us that love stories are not courtrooms. Number 1 wins by verdict. People only survive by understanding. There is a micro moment where Belly's eyes flick to Conrad's mouth and back to his eyes. And it is devastating because it lasts less than a second and tells you she remembers every word he never said. Right after, Jeremiah swallows and smiles, the kind of smile that happens when you decide to be strong and your body betrays you anyway. The trailer lets the sound of the ocean fill the gap. Waves are cliches until they are on T. Here they are. A metronome, counting out how long each person can stand to wait. If you freeze the frame, yes. The edit invites you to, you'll see that Belly shifts her stance toward Conrad, then settles square again, as if correcting her own heart mid-step. What makes this reunion break hearts is not a grand reveal. It is the way the scene admits that love can be right and wrong at the same time. The trailer trusts silence more than speeches and memory more than proof. It lets us read the apologies sitting behind Conrad's eyes, the promises Jeremiah wants to make, but might not be able to keep, and the apology Belly owes herself for trying to be everything for everyone. When the music finally climbs, it is not triumph, it is ache. Not all reunions are about coming back together. Some are about learning whether you can bear standing in the same place without falling apart. The final impression the trailer leaves is a promise of fallout. You sense that whatever words follow this soft collision will not fix anything. It will only expose what has been hidden. If a door opens, it will be to a room no one is ready to live in yet. If If a hand reaches out, it will shake. If a choice is made, it will cost something none of them budgeted for. That is why viewers will replay this moment again and again, not to find answers, but to sit with the honesty of it. The reunion is not a scene you watch. It is a feeling you carry into episode 7. Heavy and bright, like the sky before a storm that has already started. Asterisk. Every frame of the episode 7 trailer feels intentional, and the reunion scene is no exception. On the surface, it's just 3 people caught in an emotional crossroad. But if you look closely, the trailer is filled with hidden details that hint at deeper meanings. These small choices, whether it's the placement of the characters, the tone of the lighting, or the subtle props in the background, are what make this reunion more than a simple face-to-face moment. It becomes a layered sequence, one that quietly prepares fans for heartbreak. While leaving clues about where the story is heading, the first clue sits in the location itself. The beach house, often shown as a place of joy, laughter, and summer traditions, feels different this time. It's muted, quieter, and stripped of its warm glow. In earlier seasons, the house symbolized belonging and family. Now it mirrors tension and distance. The walls, the stairs, even the windows in the background look still, almost cold, as if the house itself knows that this reunion isn't about healing, but exposing wounds. When Belly walks into this space, the house doesn't welcome her like it used to. Instead, it feels like neutral ground. A reminder that time changes even the places we once thought would never betray us. Lighting becomes another powerful symbol. The scene doesn't take place under bright summer skies, the kind that usually promise carefree happiness. Instead, the light is softer, muted, and slightly golden, giving everything a nostalgic edge. It's the kind of lighting that makes you think of endings rather than beginnings, like looking at an old photograph. Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah are bathed in that glow, but it doesn't flatter them, it exposes them. The way shadows fall across their faces suggests things unsaid, truths hidden in half-light. It's as if the scene is asking us to pay attention not only to what we see, but also to what's concealed, just out of frame. There's a subtle detail in the sound design, too. The ocean is present, but it's not lively or soothing. Heavy. Each wave lands with a weight that underscores the silence between the characters. In past trailers, the ocean symbolized freedom, romance, and the infinite possibilities of summer. Now, it feels more like a clock, ticking down, reminding us that time is running out for them to make choices. It's steady, unchanging, and relentless. A sharp contrast to the fragile emotions of the 3 people standing in its presence. If you pause on Belly's expressions, you notice something interesting. She glances down at the sand more than once, almost as though she can't face what's in front of her. That tiny action might seem small, but symbolically, it's massive. Sand is temporary, always shifting, never stable, and by looking down, Belly is visually tied to that instability. She's grounded, yes, but on ground that can slip away at any moment. This choice in body language underscores her inner struggle. How can she plant herself firmly in one direction when the foundation beneath her keeps shifting? Conrad's symbolism is in his restraint. His hands stay in his pockets, his posture stiff, his face calm but guarded. We've seen him collapse before, we've seen him open up, but here he chooses control. Symbolically, it represents the way Conrad has always carried his emotions, locked away, hidden deep where no one else can see. His choice to stand still, to not step forward, says more about his character arc than any words could. It's the classic symbol of love held back not because it isn't strong, but because letting it out might destroy him. Jeremiah's symbolism, on the other hand, comes through in his movement. He shifts closer to Belly, leaning just slightly, as though his body betrays him even when his words don't. Unlike Conrad, Jeremiah can't hide what he feels, and that openness has always been his strength and his weakness. The closeness here isn't just about romantic intention, it symbolizes his desire to be present, to fill the silence, to take up the emotional space that Conrad refuses to claim. Yet, the way he doesn't actually touch Belly shows us something else, that even he knows this reunion carries. Too much weight for anyone to reach across the line without consequences. Props play their role too, even in their absence. There are no bright summer drinks, no playful volleyball games, no lively decorations in the background. The simplicity of the setting, the plain walls, the bare furniture, the open sand symbolizes the stripping down of pretense. This reunion isn't dressed up or distracted by the season's charm. It's raw, vulnerable, and exposed like the characters themselves. By removing the summer from the summer I turned pretty, the trailer shows us that this is no longer just a coming-of-age romance. It's about choices that linger far beyond one season. Perhaps the most striking hidden clue comes in the way. The trailer cuts between the characters. It never holds all three of them together for long. Instead, it isolates each face, forcing us to see them individually. This editing choice symbolizes how alone each of them really feels, even in the middle of a reunion. Belly may stand between Conrad and Jeremiah, but the cuts remind us that she's isolated in her decisions. Conrad, though close by, seems miles away in thought. Jeremiah, though hopeful, can't bridge the distance. The reunion is less about togetherness, and more about the recognition that togetherness may no longer be possible. By the end of the trailer, the symbolism is clear. This scene isn't meant to comfort us. It's meant to warn us. The ocean, the house, the lighting, the sand, the silence, everything whispers that this reunion isn't a happy ending. It's a crossroads. Each choice Belly makes will ripple outward, touching not only Conrad and Jeremiah, but also the memories of every summer before. Fans who catch these details understand that the heartbreak doesn't come from the reunion itself. It comes from knowing that nothing can ever go back to the way it was. Asterisk what makes the reunion in Episode 7's trailer so unforgettable is not just what happens on screen, but what it does to the people watching. Fans don't simply see Belly, Conrad, and in Jeremiah, they see reflections of their own heartbreaks, unfinished stories, and impossible choices. That's why this scene has already sent waves across the fandom, sparking debates, theories, and late-night conversations. It isn't just about who ends up with whom. It's about what it means to love someone so deeply that being near them feels like both healing and breaking at the same time. For longtime fans of the summer, I turned pretty. This reunion strikes a chord because it feels like the culmination of everything they've invested in since season 1. Every stolen glance, every summer memory, every argument and apology, it all builds up to this moment. And yet, instead of delivering clarity, the trailer doubles down on uncertainty. That's where the heartbreak really lies. Fans aren't crying simply because Belly is torn. They're crying because they know there are no easy answers. Every outcome, whether Belly chooses Conrad, Jeremiah, or no one at all, means someone loses. And the audience feels that loss as if it were their own. One reason this scene is so devastating is how it mirrors real life. Many viewers recognize themselves in Belly's hesitation, in Conrad's silence, or in Jeremiah's vulnerable hope. The show has always leaned into relatability, but here it hits harder because the stakes are not just about romance. They're about identity. Belly isn't just choosing between two brothers. She's choosing between versions of herself. Fans connect to that deeply because we all remember moments where our choices didn't just decide who we loved, but who we became. Watching her stand at this crossroads forces fans to remember their own. The emotional impact is amplified by nostalgia. Viewers who have been with the series since the beginning can't help but recall the innocence of earlier summers. Back then, reunions were exciting, joyful, full of promises of what could be. Now, the same act of coming back together feels heavy, haunted by everything that has been said and unsaid. This contrast makes the reunion even more painful. Fans who remember Belly running carefree on the beach in Season 1 now watch her stand. Frozen in Season 3, weighed down by choices. It's not just character growth. It's a reminder that growing up often means trading joy for clarity. Sometimes clarity hurts. Social media reactions show just how deeply the trailer cut into the fanbase. Some viewers posted about rewatching the reunion moment frame by frame, searching for hidden signals. Does Belly lean closer to Conrad or Jeremiah? Does Conrad's silence mean he's given up? Or is it his way of saying he still cares? Others shared how the scene made them cry, Not because of what was shown, but because of what it implied, that no matter what, someone's heart will break, and this time it might not mend. The fan community thrives on speculation, but with this trailer, speculation feels heavier. It's more personal. Another layer of impact comes from how the reunion highlights the love triangle in a way that feels more tragic than romantic. Earlier seasons leaned into the thrill of the triangle, the excitement of Team Conrad versus Team Jeremiah. But in this trailer, it stops feeling like a competition. It feels like a tragedy. The reunion doesn't make fans root harder for one brother over the other. It makes them grieve for the fact that one of them will inevitably walk away hurt. Even the fans who were once playful about their teams now find themselves uneasy, realizing that no matter the outcome, someone loses something permanent. The emotional resonance extends beyond just the central trio. For fans, this reunion represents the end of innocence in the series itself. The carefree summers, the youthful hope, the easy laughter they're fading. What remains are the hard truths. People change, feelings shift, and timing can ruin even the strongest connections. That's why the trailer feels so different from earlier ones. It doesn't invite fans to dream, it invites them to prepare for heartbreak, for endings, for goodbyes. And that preparation hurts as much as the moment itself. Perhaps the most heartbreaking part of this reunion, from a fan's perspective, is its inevitability. Everyone watching knows it had to happen. Belly couldn't avoid Conrad forever, Jeremiah couldn't ignore his brother, and the triangle couldn't stay suspended in limbo. This reunion was destiny. And yet, even knowing that, fans still find themselves wishing it could have gone another way. That tension between inevitability and inevitability and inevitability. Desire is what makes the scene unforgettable. It's painful because it feels true. Life often gives us the moments we dread most. It's not the ones we dream about. In the end, the reunion scene isn't just about three characters on a beach. It's about every fan who has ever waited for a moment they weren't ready for. It's about first loves that didn't last, friendships that shifted into something heavier, and choices that shaped futures we couldn't escape. That's why the heartbreak lingers. The trailer doesn't simply tease episode 7, it holds up a mirror. And in that mirror, fans see themselves, their own summers, their own reunions, and their own heartbreaks reflected back at them.